Hello, and welcome back to Talkin Tigers with Auburn TFC. Good morning. It's another beautiful morning on this day of our Lord, Wednesday, July 15th, I believe. Yes. And it's a good day. I apologize for not recording for the past couple days. I have been very, very busy. I just finished, or I had a wedding to go to, and then I had a very long day at work yesterday. And so, past couple days have been very busy, so just wasn't able to record. And if I did, it wouldn't have been a very good episode for you guys. Excuse me. And I'd rather not record than release a subpar episode. But today, I'm gonna be, ranking every game on the Auburn football schedule by importance. How important is this game to the team this year? And why is it important, or why is it not? And I took a good bit of time making these rankings. I'm pretty proud of them. And if you see anything that you don't like, anything that you do like, tell me about it. Reach me at any of the um, social media platforms that you see right there, and tell me what you think. Give me some criticism. And if there's anything that you'd like me to cover on tomorrow's episode, tell me that too. So let's start it up. So at number 12, I have the Samford game. Samford is the least important for obvious reasons. It's the least important this game this year because, the biggest goal from this game, from this week, is to win with the least amount of impact players playing as possible. You have to come out of this scar free before going to Tuscaloosa. It will be a fun game to watch, however, because you'll probably get to see a good bit of Tristan Tia, and I'm excited to see that, and just kind of excited to see what he can do or what he could be. But just the goal is to have if you can win this whole game by just playing your second and third stringers, perfect, absolutely perfect. I mean, and even if you have like a situation where it's a close game but you still win, and you might drop, if you're ranked at that point, you might drop in the rankings. I don't really care a whole lot because you're just trying to come out of this without an injury. Number 11, I have Vanderbilt. Surprisingly, that should be controversial maybe, but I think that Vanderbilt, I know it's our second conference game of the year, but it's one we should be able to take care of business. We should be able to take care of. The defense will be able to eat. It'll get there and be able to get their all around confidence up. And, this game could be more important if we lose to Florida, but I mean, either way, it's not too important. And with how confident I am in this Tiger team against Vanderbilt, I've talked to numerous times about why I don't think Vanderbilt's going to be good this year. So I just, you know, I could touch on that real quick. So with Vanderbilt, they spent all their time and money pouring into Diego Pavia and, kind of catering to him instead of catering to a future in their football team, in their football program. They, kind of just went from, they're kind of just going from, let Diego do his thing, let him figure it out, to having to have a structured offense and a structured, everything. Which is something that, while they're starting Jared Curtis, they're not. I don't think they're going to be very effective in. So I just don't think all around that offense is going to be very effective, and I don't know if they're even going to make a bowl game this year because Diego Pavio was the reason for a majority of their wins last season. Number 10, I have the Southern Miss game. Southern Miss game is the first home game in the Alex Golesh era. However, that's the only redeeming quality of this game, and that can only get you so far. It'll still be a blowout, but it will still be fun to watch. And I'll be at this game, and so I plan on bringing my microphone and hopefully getting some good clips from there. Doing some interviews in the student section if I can sneak there. Just try to make some fun with it, but it's not gonna be, it is important, but I think we're gonna win handsomely, which we definitely should. Number 9 is Mississippi State. Mississippi State is our second to last SEC game, and it's also an away game. However, I do think that we should be able to take care of the Mississippi State Bulldogs with ease. And this is far from the least important game. I'm not saying this is I'm not saying this is going to be a blowout. I'm not saying that it has zero implications. But I am saying that this is far from the most important game. And I'm just not confident in Mississippi State. I mean, Kamario Taylor is is good. He's very good, but he's just like if Byron Brown was much worse. So at number 8, I have the Ole Miss game. And Ole Miss is a game that we're just not going to win, in my opinion. I just don't think we really have a chance to win that game. Yes, like within the college football lore and Auburn lore, going to Oxford on Halloween, it factors in when it comes to how weird this game could be. We could pull out an upset, but Trinidad Chambliss and the just Ole Miss overall is just so very good. And I just don't believe that we have any chance of winning this game. But with that said, it's an away game with 2 very winnable games ahead of it. So it's probably the least important big game of the season. Number 7, I have Georgia. Georgia is another one of those games that I just don't think we have a huge chance of winning. It is going to give Golish a good chance or not a good chance, a good taste of the energy that comes with the rivalries that Auburn is involved in. And, this is really you could count Florida, but, Georgia is the real first impression of rivalries that Alex Golish is going to have within the, Auburn lore. And this game could, depending on how it goes, could give a lot of preparation for the rest of the season. If you come out of this game with a win, you're going to be riding high. But even if you come out with a loss and you prove that you can hang, that's going to set up your season for success. But like I've said before, I don't think Alex Golish is the kind of guy to be blown out. I just don't think he's the kind. I just don't think he is going to be the kind of coach that gets blown out. You know what I mean? And that I'm not saying that it's impossible for him to be blown out. If a team's just much better that day, you can have a blowout. But I just don't think Alex Golish is the kind of coach to lay down like a Hugh Freeze. At number 6, I have LSU. Now, LSU, I've actually been thinking about that game a lot lately, but, and I've been thinking that, LSU is a great game to show where we are at that point in the season. And, Sam Leavitt is a very hit or miss quarterback. And, there's a lot of people saying that, he was carried by Cam Scattaboo and, he's not actually the great quarterback that people are, hyping him up to be. But I still think that LSU is just too good of a team for us to beat right now. This is the most winnable game when it comes to the losses that I have us down for. It's the most winnable game that I have us losing in. But still, it should be a good game, but I still think it's going to be resulting in a loss. And real quick, I just want to take a moment to thank and appreciate my sponsor, Barner Supply. Barner Supply has a lot of great products. They have cups, hats, shirts, and stickers, decals. I know one of my buddies has a sticker that he puts on his welding helmet, and it has not even, it's got marks on it, but that sticker's not coming off anytime soon. One of the things about these hats that I love is how comfortable they are. And when I say that, is my definition of comfortable and yours could be different. It could be different for a lot of people. But what I will say is, whenever I wear hats, I wear headphones a lot of the times that I'm wearing hats. I mean, yes, I go out and just wear a hat, and this hat is stylish enough for that. And like this shirt. I wore this shirt and this hat with boots and jeans to on a card buying trip the other day, and I looked great. And you would look great too if you wore this hat. But one of my favorite things about this hat is it's comfortable with headphones. A lot of hats that I own and that I've heard some people talk about, some people that are close to me talk about, you know, Chandler, whenever I wear headphones with my hat, the top of it hurts my head, and when I take it off, I feel like there's a bruise there, or there's even a little bit of a lump there. Not with this hat. This hat is comfortable. It is stable. It's soft enough for when you put on headphones or you have anything close to your head. That like I've worn hats that are so hard right here that when I hit my head, it hurts more when I wear the hat than with this without a hat. This is softer, but it's also it's pliable, but it's also firm. And that's not coming off your head anytime soon. The size is great. This one's on the third notch. I could also put it on the fourth notch. And as someone with a big head like me, I really appreciate that. And also, if you want to wear one of these hats as a work hat, sweat ring. And one of the taglines for this brand is, I, like many others, believe in work, hard work, and you could get plenty of work done while wearing this hat. Go to barnersupply.com for all of your barning needs. And tell them I sent you. Moving on, we are in the top 5 now of my top 5 most important games of the season. This number 5, I actually, in the moment when I was making this list, I was like, this could be controversial, but I don't think this should be controversial at all. Arkansas at number 5. Arkansas is an underrated game when it comes to importance on the schedule. If things go how I and a lot of other people think things will go, this game will decide the Tigers' bowl eligibility. And, I like this game from a lot of angles. It should be fun to watch. Bowl eligibility on the line. And it's kind of the last, I guess, good home game. I mean, after that, you have Mississippi State and then your last home game against Samford. This is the last good home game of the year. And so, with that, this game has the potential. Yes, this is probably going to be a midday to noon kickoff, but still, it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a great game when it comes to implication-wise, just like I just said. And just overall, there's a lot of potential here. Number 4, the Baylor game. Baylor is the first game of the Alex Golesh era on the Plains. It's a huge booster when it comes to meaning. That by itself being the first game of this era, it boosts the meaning a lot, especially with the Bryson Washington storyline that I've talked about, and it has everything you need. Like it's the Aflac kickoff game, for goodness sake. But the only thing that kind of brings it down a good bit, is Hugh Freeze beat Baylor last year at Baylor. Hugh Freeze actually coached a good game against Baylor before everything went to crap. So, if Golesh wins this game, I'm so sorry. If Baylor, if we win this game, it's not, you're not going to be starting a big hoorah about it, especially considering this is closer to a home game for you than it is, the Baylor Bears. But it's not gonna be. You're not gonna be going crazy if you win this game. When you win this game, but it's still a great game with a great storyline, and it's the first game of the Alex Golesh era, and I'm really excited. Number 3, I have the Florida game. Florida, I have talked about this game a lot. So I'll keep this brief. The storylines between Alex Golish and John Sumrall, they're varied. Some reach to the fact that Sumrall has a conference championship with Troy, while Golish has none. Others reach to the fact that John Sumrall passed on the Auburn Tigers before Golish accepted the coaching position, like 3 hours later. But when it comes to a person and coach like Alex Golish, as he's made himself out to be, you can't just hang something over his head. He's going to get some get back. And I I think we'll win this game. I think it'll be a good game, but I think we'll win this game. And it is one of, if not the most important, it's arguably the most important because of the storylines, because of the things that have gone on. And it's also your first conference game. Your first conference game, it's a home game. It could be one of your last night games of the season. And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, and I wish I could be there. Speaking of being at games, I will be at the number two most important game on the schedule, in my opinion. The Tennessee game is my second most important because of the very widespread implications it holds. If you win this game, you have the chance to do all of the following: be 5-0, be 3-0 in conference play. Golish can beat his former team, and if you're not ranked already, you could be ranked in the top 25, and if you're already ranked, you could even be ranked in the top 20. Yes, we were ranked last year, kind of undeserved, but I digress. We With this game, this is your first game where you're really, not expected to win. And this is your first game that you kind of got to go in there and prove that you belong. I think that's what's going to happen, and I think we're going to win this game. It's going to be a good game. Neyland's going to be packed, and we're just going to have to see if the players that we have can handle an atmosphere like that. And at number one, the most important game of this season. I'll say it like this. The only thing that matters every year is beating that Cal College on the other side of the state. Former Alabama coach Paul Bear Bryant once said this, and it means nothing but the truth for me. I wish I didn't have to quote him. However, that is just too good of a quote to pass up. With the already expected success that I have for the Tigers this season, and this is the one loss that I want to win the most, if that makes sense. This is the one game that I have as chalked down as a loss that I really just want to win the most. We haven't beat the Alabama Crimson Tide since 2019. If things don't improve, it will be a decade since the last time we beat them. But I think things will improve. Things will continue to get better. And we will finally, eventually, beat the Crimson Tide. But this year, this is the most important game on the schedule. Because if you have, a surprising streak of success and you're going into this game with 1-2 losses, maybe even none, this game could decide a college football playoff spot. And who knows, you could go back to how things were from 2009 to 2013, where the winner of that game would go and play in the national championship game. Now, that's something like that is not possible anymore. However, you get my point. But with that, that will be all for episode, I think, 9 of Talkin Tigers with Auburn TFC. It is good to be back. It's good to be back on the mic again and to talk some Tigers. You can reach me at any of the social medias I have on screen right now. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day, and more damn TFC.